What is going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a good Tuesday. Bobby Fi, Eric Sheetshaber. We're going to be talking through this NBA slate, 7 games on DraftKings, 9 games on FanDuel. And, we haven't done a show together in a while. Sheets kept winning that lottery tournament, and then he had to sit out a day, and then I won the tournament the next day.
I saw that. Good
and
job.
Then I finished third or fourth, was it? Was it the following day because Edwards got thrown out. So we got a little heater going. Hopefully, something's got to give, right? Somebody's got to win. One of us.
Yeah, I'll tell you, man. These slates are just hard.
Yeah,
they're just so hard. For those of you that didn't realize it, yes, I still have Cat projected as in, even though he is now out. That is going to update soon, I guess.
Yeah.
And then I will do something with that. Obviously, that's a ton of usage to deal with. So we're definitely have to talk about that. And not only that, but wait a minute. Who is? So I guess Precious would be, and Mitch Robb is like on a minutes limit.
Yeah.
So I guess Precious Achua is going to be very popular.
Yep.
As will Brunson, maybe, no?
Yeah, and I'm kind of annoyed because they're all great plays. Like that's the Knicks. They're gonna play everybody a million minutes,
right.
And it's gonna be wild to see how much of them. I think you're probably even on a big slate. It's pretty wild that this might be an overcorrection here. They have the Knicks as an underdog now tonight.
Oh really?
That was one of my favorite bets of the day. For those of you guys who are site members, I did post that one earlier. I said that I liked the plus. I think it was plus 5.5 or 6 for Golden State. And well, you certainly have some line edge if that's really the case.
Yeah, absolutely. Now,
yeah, and I think the Knicks, I think that the answer is not trying to find the replacement for him. I think Precious is going to look like a great play anyway. But really, all of the Knicks and Brunson is, you're just going to probably want to get to a lot of it. I had some low ownership stuff that I was really into earlier in the day, but might be a little bit more tricky now because I really love both Houston and Atlanta side of things tonight. And I think it's going to be a little bit harder for me to spend up on those guys with not playing, probably playing a couple Knicks in most lineups, to be honest with you.
What about is Cole Anthony is out? Is that right?
He's questionable as last I saw.
Yeah, no, you can be right. Okay.
Yeah. Steph Curry says he's hopeful to play.
Oh, he's hoping he will? That's nice.
Yeah, well, and in Madison Square Garden, I kind of like the idea of running him back if I'm going to play some Knicks, and if you don't, you're playing.
Fly all over New York and not play, I guess, huh?
So that game's sort of going to become the main target, but I do want to emphasize that I think there's a lot of other really good spots tonight. Wow, Precious it's giving me 100% even when I go to the 3 on the Men Uniques because they.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know if I'll end up with 100, but that's where I'm at right now. And these projections of the Philly guys are really going to come down to the starting lineup because there's no Maxey, but whether it's Jeff Doughton or Lonnie Walker, I think Lonnie Walker is probably okay even off the bench, but it really is whoever starts for them is going to end up looking like a really good value piece as well.
Hey, you know what show is not that bad?
What's that?
We binged it. We watched it. This Running Point.
Oh, that was my plane show.
Oh, really?
On this last trip, yeah. I just watched it yesterday.
Yeah. It wasn't bad.
No, it was like it's sort of cheesy parts of it, but it's like totally entertaining.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I was in on it. It's a very, very.
I just find it hard to believe that's Kate Hudson, but
yeah, I know it's wild. It's obviously based on the Lakers. You know what I mean? So it's kind of wild.
Well, what made it kind of cold is who's like one of the writers, or I guess I don't know if she created or she's one of the head writers is Mindy.
Mindy Kaling.
Whatever her name is. Yeah, she's like super talented.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they made that show Sex Lives of College Girls is freaking hysterical.
Yeah.
She's great. But so what are we doing here? I mean, I guess so early games. First of all, you like anything from this Houston game?
I love Houston, and I bumped up everybody. I just have a very hard time believing Houston playing in Indianapolis with no Van Fleet still, that one of Jalen Green, Thompson, or Şengün don't have a huge game. I also like Tari Eason, and I wouldn't mind even Dylan Brooks. I just think it's such a plus matchup, and Indy plays so fast. That's sort of the main piece from the early part of the games. getting to a little bit of Nemhard and things like that, but I don't think it's like a huge priority for me as maybe some other people find it. And not really that interested in the Toronto side of things, but I happen to really like, this has been my thing lately. I'm just playing one of Bancaro or Wagner in most of my lineups most of these days. One of them seems to put up 50 something every game, and I'll just keep rolling with that, especially if Cole Anthony's out. They're going to both look terrific. I think they both look really good anyway, so that's where I'm at.
I don't know if you saw, were you around to watch that Cleveland-Boston game a couple of days ago?
I watched the replay of it, but I didn't see it when it was happening. That's wild. I'm telling you, that Cleveland team is no joke.
Yep.
I think they've been the best. I think that's the team I would take.
But why are they so good? Like, what have they got this year? I mean, like,
well, so one thing is, Mobley's developed into one of the best bigs in the league.
Well, you called that like a long time ago.
Yeah, we knew he was going to be. But they look. Kenny Atkinson might be the best coach or one of the best coaches in the NBA. And the dumbest thing that the Nets famously, after this guy literally wins coach, they fired him because they had the Kevin Durant and they wanted to get their guys. Kevin Durant and Kyrie made all their demands and destroyed that franchise and fired him. And look what happens. He goes over to Cleveland and without really many changes, they've become awesome. And now they've got DeAndre Hunter as well, so they're really loaded.
What do you think of Drummond, Andre Drummond? He had a big game yesterday.
Yeah.
But I mean, is that something that we want to fade? Is it? I mean, what are we going to do?
I think Philly is the hardest team I'm having trouble with. The team that I have the most trouble with. I think they're going to get absolutely, completely manhandled.
Yeah.
So, but what does that mean? Does that mean Drummond still can't get there at 5K? Probably still can. And one of these 3Ks, whether it's Lonnie Walker, Jeff Downton, even Justin Edwards potentially, or Jared Butler, somebody's going to get there. It's just hard to know who it's going to be because I do think they're going to get rolled. And Minnesota's not as good a defensive team as they were last year, but they're still capable. And Philly's just been getting crushed every game. Jimmy's coming in saying the Lakers win it. I think that there's a possibility. I like what I see. I love what they're doing. I think Redick has done a great job, getting everything together. And who would have thought you get Luka, you lose AD, and you become the best defensive team in the NBA? It's pretty wild, man. But I'm loving. It's fun to love the Lakers again. I've hated them for the last years, and it's nice to root for the team that's always been my favorite. Outside of the Dodgers, my favorite sports team. All right, so yeah, I'm rerunning some stuff. I'm waiting for the Knicks stuff to update a little more. I feel like there should be a little higher projection on Brunson and Hart. I think Josh Hart is the one that you want to get after of the other spend ups. We know what happens without Towns. He ends up getting like 16 rebounds or something. I'll take whatever over that his rebound number is at today.
Remember we did that last year? I won like 10 in a row or something.
It was like every night, right?
Yeah.
It started off at like 6.5, 7.5. Right. By the end, it was like 12.5.
Right. It did. But the key was, remember all those games that OG Anunoby was out and they didn't care. Like the books didn't care.
Yeah.
They just kept on giving us the free money on them.
Yeah, absolutely.
When I ran my first stuff just now, I was getting 100 of the Precious also.
Yeah. I think it's going to be tough at this projection. And the other one is Jared Allen, who I think you're going to get to a lot of. And Team Underground is asking, what's the price if you already have SaberSim? So you'd have to just join us again. But we're our price is, I think we're $20 higher than SaberSim for the ultimate package. It's $320 versus $290. But it has all of our stuff, so that would be the only way to do it. We can't add it on to SaberSim, and we are in the development for some new tools that we're getting loaded up to the site. I've got a site meeting tonight and getting all that stuff sorted out. So
in your site meeting, can you ask something?
Yeah,
only because a couple people in the Discord have mentioned it.
Yeah,
do you need to ask Goldie if there's any progress at all on being able to get my projections up to SaberSim on FanDuel?
Oh, so the FanDuel one, I'll talk to Goldie about it. Yeah, we're having some API issues that we're trying to work out, but I'll talk to him about it tonight. Yeah, I'm sure. I knew it was going to come up anyway, but I'll definitely.
I wonder if anything would have changed with that.
Yeah. I know he's got an issue with his own projections over there, but like it shouldn't affect yours, so I don't know why that's not working.
No, it's the same thing. No. Yeah. Mine have been the same problem. Yeah, he set up the same thing for me.
Okay.
What it is, we have to get the slate ID somehow, and
that's been the tricky part. We're trying to do a deal with the FanDuel people, but they just don't respond to anything because they're focused mostly on regular sports betting.
Yeah, I don't know why we need to actually put the slate ID to just put him up in the SaberSim module. I don't know. It's so weird.
He's got a whole long explanation that I don't fully
understand.
understand.
I know. You and I together don't understand it.
It's a little tricky, but yeah, it's weird.
Now, let me see. In FanDuel, I'm just letting you know that in my FanDuel runs right now, I mean, what am I getting? Feels like I'm going to get 100 of somebody. Yeah, I'm getting 100 of Precious there too.
Yeah, it's rough to not. It's hard. It's just the projection, especially on FanDuel. I mean, with the forward eligibility. Now, if he doesn't start for some reason, they do something different. I'll tell you what happened once though when we had this happen. Do you know who went nuts and didn't project well was Miles McBride. So I ended up. I think he put up he had something like 60 or something crazy, 59 or whatever it was. So that's another one. I just think you're going to want to be overweight all the nicks. I think it's just as simple as that. I want to point out a play though that no one's getting to today for whatever reason. Actually, it looks like they're getting a little bit more of it. I think Trae Young is an incredible play. I don't play as much Trae Young as maybe some other people do, but this is the exact type of matchup where he could go completely nuts. Now, he doesn't like to shoot as much as he used to, but the pace is great. But with that drop coverage, if there's a game where he's going to make 10 threes, it would be this matchup. So I really like to try and get to I keep bumping his projection up higher and higher to try to get more and more of them. And also with Jalen Brunson being popular now, obviously, Trae's going to get a little bit overlooked. They're the same price on FanDuel, and Trae's more expensive by $1,200 on DraftKings. So I think you're going to get a low-owned Trae, and that's very appealing to me. But in terms of the first games, yeah, it's Paolo or Franz, and then it's the basically all the Houston, Şengün, Eason, Jalen Green, and Amen Thompson are my favorites. But I really want to go out of my way to play them. I just don't. I find it very hard to believe that one of them doesn't have a big game tonight.
What do you think of the I mentioned Cleveland for a minute. I mean that is a 240 point total, right?
Yeah, and Cleveland has been really good this year at just beating the absolute hell out of these teams. And I think they're going to again tonight. But the guys, for me, I still think it's really hard to get away from Jared Allen with no Mobley, and a great matchup.
Oh, that's what it is. There's no Mobley today.
Yeah, and Ty Jerome is just Sabersim loves him. They're trying to give me all the Ty Jerome, but also
who's out?
Well, Mobley could actually affect him too for some of their small lineups, and remember they don't have LeVert there anymore, so he's had some more playmaking duties, and he's been really really solid with it. But also the blowout run he would get as well. So I'm on the Ty Jerome thing, but I'll be a little bit under some of the other Cleveland things. I like Darius Garland. I don't think I need to play all of them. I don't think I need to play all Donovan Mitchell in the matchup where, yeah, it's a great matchup, but the great matchup, that means if these guys go nuts, they literally might be up by 30 at halftime of this game and not get any fourth quarter run. That I really think it's I like Cleveland to win this game by a ton. I mean, every now and then, sure, their home team will show some fight, but we also still have Giddey and Ball questionable. So I think it's really good to just we tried to address the first games, but because you're going to be late swapping a bunch. There's Philadelphia has got everybody. George and Quentin Grimes are still questionable. All the projections Lonnie Walker keeps going from a 6x projection to a 3x projection, and I just think nobody knows what to do with Philadelphia right now. They're also probably going to get killed, but like I said, somebody's going to get there.
Yeah. What about the Edwards guy?
For Philly?
Yeah.
Justin Edwards. Yeah, he's questionable as well. And he would be another one. I think Philly's being currently underprojected, but I just don't think they know if Paul George and Quentin Grimes are playing. And they can't even tank because they don't have their picks. They have their pick, but it has to be a certain spot in the draft.
What does that mean?
Philadelphia, they're so terrible they would ordinarily tank, but they don't. Their pick is, I believe, they only get it if it's, what does it have to be, top 6 or 7, something like that. So if they don't get that, then they just lose the pick and they tanked for no reason then. And they're only 3.5 games out of the 10th spot because the East is so awful. So they could still make the playoffs, and they barely made it last year. And they made a run, or almost made a run. They had a chance to beat the Knicks in that series of the playoffs.
You know what I like? I liked your idea. I mean, presuming that Curry plays.
Yeah.
Play him in the kind of in a game stack sort of.
Yeah, and he's also like, don't forget, like he's been the Madison Square Garden guy before. We've seen him put up 50 plus in those spots, and he's also been on a tear lately. And I think it matters for a guy like that. And they've got a good thing going in Golden State. It's pretty wild how the two most popular players in the NBA were going to be totally out of the picture this year, and now both of them have like legitimate chances to maybe make a run and win the title.
Who? Curry and
So Mitch Robb, Jimmy's saying that Mitch Robb is starting. I didn't get that. So is he Mitch Robb? So that means they're starting Mitch Robb instead of Precious, which is fine. Precious is still going to get run, but his projection will come down. You're probably not going to get to 100 of them. He's still going to play, especially with Mitch Robb on the minutes limit. Yeah, so I'm expecting them to sort of balance. It's interesting because even on a minutes limit, what are they going to play him? They probably aren't going to let him go above like 18 minutes. I just don't think they would. Maybe they will. Maybe they let him go to 24. That's the most I could see.
So you're saying they're starting Mitch Robb.
That's what Jimmy said. Oh, then he said, never mind. He's not sure. I'm looking at, he's projected to start. NBA.com has him as projected to start. I would expect he would start. I don't know why you wouldn't start him. If you're going to play him limited minutes, just start him and let him close. Like, he's supposed to be the Knicks' defensive answer that to all of the questions about the Knicks' defense this year. But apparently, he's supposed to be the one who figures it all out. Oh, Josh Giddey and Lonzo ruled out, says the best pulse. I have, again, I'm going to believe it, but I haven't seen it. There it is. Giddey's. Yeah, there it is. They're out. So now all of Chicago, and Chicago's going to get pummeled, but you're going to have to, like, Chicago and New York.
Right. So how do you handle that?
It's going to be Kobe White and
so
Kevin
both
Huerter.
Those guys are both Giddey and Lonzo are out.
Yeah, Kobe White, Kevin Huerter, probably. Honestly, it might be Trey Jones or Taylor Horton Tucker, who was projected like for like nothing. I'm curious who they end up starting. But yeah, that game's got a 1 million point total, and if they can kind of keep it close, and sometimes that happens. You sit there, you're better guys, and every now and then you end up like
both those guards out, both those guys out. That's tough.
This whole slate is it's getting kind of ridiculous. Like, the NBA is partnered with DraftKings. Let's get this stuff figured out, guys. Make it a little bit easier and more enjoyable for the average people, because right now, unless you're doing,
or at least have some kind of like, even with the NFL, they have like a time.
90 minutes, yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. So Kobe White's officially in. Kevin Huerter's also out, by the way. So,
oh my God,
it's going to look like very Bulls heavy, very Knicks heavy today. And
well, as far as the value goes, but the Knicks are better because they rate to keep the game close.
Yeah, but Chicago, even if in a blowout, they're still going to play fast and score. And now I kind of want to take a chance at maybe you do get a game stack of the Chicago Cleveland, and just hope that they can keep it close enough.
What about the Trey Jones, huh?
Trey Jones is probably going to look like the answer, I think, because who the hell else can they play? They have to play somebody. And remember, this is a team already that doesn't have what's his name anymore. Obviously, no Levine and no Vucevic already. So like Jalen Smith, maybe they play a big lineup instead of going small. It might be Dalen Terry. But we can figure that stuff out, I guess, later. I think it's just going to make the earlier games less appealing outside of the spend-ups that I really like, which is going to be the Şengün, Jalen Green, and the Wagner and the Banchero. I think I'm just going to for whatever reason, I hate this KCP. I might just X out KCP tonight because he's projected to be 20% owned on fan. He played 34 minutes the other day and had 6 fantasy points. He put up 18 in the last game. It took him 39 minutes to get there. His usage rate has barely crept over double digits almost at all this year. He's put up 21 time in his last 14 games. This is the kind of play that you've got to I don't care if he has the game. It's not the right it's not the right play. It's just wrong.
What team is he on?
Orlando. You don't play that kind of value on this slate. Now, if he's 1% owned, okay, sure, you talk me into it. He plays 1 million minutes. But I hate that kind of stuff. I'm going to give him a projection of like 15 fantasy points. This is
why is he projecting well here?
There's no other. There will be soon, but there wasn't going to be other 4K guards basically.
No way. I'm not doing that.
Yeah, and I like what MJ is saying right here. I'm very much on this Trey Giannis stack idea. I love that, and I also like Dyson Daniels, by the way, too. Yeah, I think Giannis is going to be popular, and I think he should be very popular. I think he was always going to be popular, and now he's going to be really popular. Cole Anthony is out too, so then there goes the boost.
Yeah, I've heard that somewhere.
They announced that he was more questionable.
Okay.
Later, so
so that's probably why KC. Well, now KCP's really getting popular. No?
I don't think that there's any.
Or maybe Anthony Black.
Any benefit to KCP whatsoever.
Maybe Anthony Black gets the start there.
Yeah, but like I don't. That's not like an exciting one. I would rather play it than KCP. I'll tell you that. Actually, Anthony Black is he's 4,300 on FanDuel on DraftKings.
That's not bad.
No, that's reasonable. Oh my God. Yeah, they're all. This is nuts. Well, I'll tell you what. 400 is going to be what it takes on FanDuel tonight. I'll tell you that right now. That's how many points you're going to need to score to win, at least.
Well, do you? In other words, like where's like the ceiling? I mean, where's the big spend?
Well, Giannis, but all these. I mean, there's so many. Like,
okay.
All the guys I've mentioned, the Banchero, the Franz with no Cole Anthony. They already have almost all the usage between them, and take out your high usage guy and replace him with Anthony Black, who's incredibly low usage. So you're going to have guys in the 8K scoring like 60 tonight, 50s, maybe not 60, 50s. And you're right though, but we don't have a lot of the other normal superstar guys but Giannis is going to be a ton owned, and he should be. Why with a projection of 0? Is that still showing? Okay, I got to rebuild all my stuff in a minute, but guys, I'll do the thing I've been doing with that when, probably in about 8 minutes, I'll jump into the premium Discord channel. We've had some good, it's good because people can talk. I don't need to read everything, because I'm going back and forth looking at things, and people can just ask questions like that. And we've gone through my exact exposures. Not on top of it, I keep winning when it happens. So I'm certainly not going to stop doing it.
No, definitely not.
Let's see what we got here. This Precious thing has got to come down. That's what I'm waiting for, because there's no way he should be.
Maybe it won't. I mean,
30 fantasy points as a median. There's no way. I'm not saying he can't get there. It's a crazy number. Yeah, they just took him out. So okay, let's see. I'm looking at the value, and I think there's still some updating to do, obviously, for Chicago. But Jalen Smith was already in play. Zach Collins was already in play. Kobe White was already in play. And now you're going to get one of Trey Jones, Julian Phillips, or Dalen Terry, maybe even Taylor Horton Tucker.
What do you think? What do you think of the 2 FanDuel games that are off the DraftKings slate?
That's a good question. I like that. Let me just grab my FanDuel real quick, because I was jumping over and taking those guys out. So I initially, so that's one thing you could spend some money on. Why not? I mean, first of all, LeBron's been great in real life, in every way actually lately. But what about we could play Luka at 11 too? I don't see why we can't anymore. So
who's been playing well. I don't know if he can get all the minutes he needs, but Zion's been doing well.
Yeah, he had a big game the other night. He's always beating up on the Lakers too. But he's just on FanDuel, he's 9,500 though. That's the thing that's a little tricky. I think if you're playing the 2-gamer on DraftKings, that would be maybe where you deploy him. Let's see. Magic will start Corey Joseph is. I honestly didn't even occur to me that they would start.
I knew that actually. They dusted him off the other day, I think.
I didn't think they would start him though. And by the way, that doesn't need to be an action item, in my opinion. Now, you certainly can do it, but I'm curious where he ends up projecting. Because we know the Corey Joseph story, right? Like, we've seen this before. That doesn't have to get there. Where is he going to project? Well, he's going to project better than the 0.84 that he had before.
Yeah, I think so.
3K. It's kind of hard to ignore it, I guess.
Right?
If you're flat 3K, because I mean, it's just going to. What other value are we going to compare him with the Chicago guys? But we're speculating on them.
You see flat 3K Cam Whitmore last night?
What did he do?
Just 50 fantasy points, I think.
Oh my God. That's wild. Is he out tonight?
It was a big late swap day yesterday.
Yeah, I saw a lot of upset people on a lot of injuries too.
Yeah.
Cam Whitmore may not be the worst long shot play, but it's just the first game.
No, he's going to be. He won't play tonight. I don't think.
He'll play. I mean, he's just not going to probably go nuts.
Do we have Paul George news yet? By the way,
no.
Okay.
Also, in the later games, I think Kawhi is an incredible play, and I think that I love Zubac in this matchup. I don't know where he ends up on my list, but I think that there's a lot of center. There's going to be a lot of other center plays, but I like Zubac on FanDuel. I like. I don't really like much on Phoenix. I guess Bull's okay because he's got forward eligibility. But I like Kawhi, I like Harden, and I like Zubac, and I like Bogdanovich as well. So actually, a lot to like in the later games. Just those guys are probably going to be a little overshadowed by all this Chicago value that's about to start popping, which you haven't seen yet. I'm still not Precious play him on FanDuel, but I don't think he's like a must play. I'm not agreeing with this projection of his. It's a silly number. Should be like in the maybe low 20s, not 30. Should not be the median.
You don't think he's going to play 30 minutes?
I don't think he has to.
No, he doesn't have to.
They've got him at 25 right now.
Oh, okay.
And they just haven't updated the projection part of it yet.
Oh, I see.
They dropped his minutes by 8. And again, it could easily just they can you can go small against Golden State. You don't need to play a big, so they can just play McBride with Brunson if they want to. I don't think that playing Mitrov is out of the question for what it's worth. I just don't think you need to do it. But minutes limit, and he hasn't played more than 13, and serious injury and all that stuff. But if he ends up playing like 20 minutes, he could end up with like 30 fantasy points, and he's 3,900 on FanDuel. What is he on DK? I'm curious about that one. Joseph. All right, let's update some projections, guys, so we can figure this stuff out.
Yeah.
Quick catastrophe. I don't think of things that way. If a player has I wouldn't say, okay, I want to play this guy at center or forward. It doesn't matter. But the thing is, you're probably going to end up with him more at forward because you just have other really good center options, and they don't have forward eligibility like Jalen Smith, Jared Allen, Andre Drummond, Kongwu, Zach Collins, Miles Turner, Al Şengün. A lot of good options. Okay. Yeah, Corey Joseph. I'm really curious what they end up projecting. I think like 16 would be the projection I would have him at. Maybe a little bit higher. Maybe you have him at like 17 because he's starting. But they're going to play Anthony Black minutes off the bench. That's actually probably the tournament way to go. So I can't even rerun and give away my.
Some ownership updates on just a couple of other sites is all these Chicago guys. Buzelis.
Yep.
Jalen Smith, Trey Jones.
Oh, they get the Trey Jones in there, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that Trey Jones. I mean, look, if you're doing this type of rule thing, I think saying having at least one from Chicago and at least one from New York is probably a reasonable place to start.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I'm kind of in agreeing with you. I'm thinking that Precious should be more like a 25-point projection.
That seems right to me. And they're going to drop it at some point because they've got. I mean, yeah. There's no. Also, you don't. There's risks too because you really don't need to play big against Golden State. Those minutes that are non-Robinson could easily just as easily go to Miles McBride, who's cheaper, by the way. All right, what else do we have here? We got some good golf coming up. It's finally kicking into like the real tournaments and stuff. We've got the elevated event followed by the players next week and stuff. We got the $1 million for first tournaments back. It's gonna be fun. Not this week, but next week.
Saber Sim update, Chicago stuff yet or no?
No. I'm waiting on it. Blah, blah, blah. Yep, of course we couldn't have the. I really liked this slate earlier today, and now it's again we still make the right decisions and stuff, but like I don't want to forget about these plays that I really like the Trey Young, the Houston guys, the Orlando guys. I think Orlando's going to pop up pretty high though, actually. Yeah, no numbers on Corey Joseph. Are you able to see that anywhere else, Sheets?
Let me see. No, that hasn't updated for me yet. Shoot.
We'll see. I may get out of here in a minute just so I can do the live Discord thing.
Okay.
But I'm trying to figure out what else to go over and like sort of leave people with something. But I mean, look, it's I mentioned the guys I like that are pivots. I think the New York and Chicago is where you start every build. One just the only tale of caution for Chicago, and again, you're still going to end up with somebody from there. But like they have enough bodies where like Javon Carter, Taylor Norton Tucker, Dalen Terry, Trey Jones, Julian Phillips, these guys literally might just divide up the other minutes. That's totally on the table. Even got like Jameer Young. I think he's available tonight. Yeah. But I mean, look who they're missing. No Patrick Williams, no Josh Giddey, no Lonzo Ball, no Vucevic, no Herter, no Dosunmu. And they already didn't have, they have for a while now, but they don't have obviously Levine there anymore. So I don't know who's going to score outside of Kobe.
I gotta go.
All right, do your thing, man. All right, guys, I'll see them people who are site members in the Discord channel.